Do you find it difficult to come up with content ideas for your podcast? Or perhaps you've gotten stuck during an interview with a guest where you have just nothing else to ask? Try Poddex today. Poddex is the best all-in-one podcast idea generation tool. You get everything from episode ideas to interesting conversation starters for interviews, engaging discussion topics for your live streams, and even social media content ideas. With this tool, you don't have to spend weeks trying to come up with content for an episode or unique questions for your guest. Just shuffle the cards and pick one at random, hit the record button, and get started. Now you can make better content, have more fun while at it, and get your viral moment, all with Poddex. Head over to poddex.com and use code C4C at checkout.
Hello and welcome to day 3 of the C4 Challenge. I am Shawn Smith, the executive producer of Drippin' in Black Productions. And this entry into the C4 Challenge is different for us. And I'm doing a excerpt from a blog that I wrote that was inspired by the episode of 213, Drippin' in Music and Justice, featuring Jalen Seawright. And this was probably the most personal interview that we had, because this is one of my original babies that started at 296 South Boulevard West in Pontiac, Michigan. And Jalen, even before there were Smith men, my sons, Jalen was the firstborn from our group, and I was very close to Jalen. So it was an honor to have him on our podcast and seeing the development, because again, yes, I did change Jalen's diaper. I'm that old to say that. I did change Jalen's diaper and was there day one with the beautiful Seawright family. And it all started at 296. But before there was Jalen, before there was Smith men, there was his father and I, Jerry Seawright, and we met through mutual friends, and I ended up joining the church there with my boys, and our group became bigger when Jerry and I came together. And our connection, although sports was one of the things, our connection, our real connection, was music. And I can remember when Jerry was a two-finger chord playing brother to what he is now, which is a very well talented musician. But he actually put the musicianship to the side a little bit. I still hear him sing every once in a while, but he's actually now the pastor of the church. And I can remember when we got the keys, when they used to give us keys to the church in the alarm, Jerry and I would stay up there for hours practicing music. And again, we went from two fingers, when he was doing two fingers chords, to like I say, very accomplished musician. And we would stay up there for hours and practice and write songs. And one of the things that Jerry could do, he could write his butt off. He was a wordsmith for real, especially with the gospel music and his Bible study, because Jerry's a borderline genius. So we stayed up there for hours practicing. And as we got older, our positions in the church moved up. Jerry became the minister of music, and I reluctantly became the choir director at that time. And we put in a lot of work, a lot of sweat. But we also had our pet projects, and we love groups. You know, we both were a friend of the Whinings and groups like that, Commission, definitely. And we wrote music and we formed groups. Shout out to Redeem and the Ensemble. And we'd stay up there for hours writing songs. We had some songs that were so tough that we let them go because we couldn't even teach them to nobody because we didn't think they was ready for them. And we did a lot of stuff until we didn't. And after a while, as life went on and marriages and divorces, unfortunately, we kind of all went our separate ways. And one of the things I used to ask myself is, we spent all this time, we spent money because we did have equipment. We spent all this blood, sweat, and tears, laughter too. We did have some good times sitting up in that church, practicing and things like that. And what was it for? That was my question. What was it for? It was too much time. It was too much not to have something come out of it bigger. A few years, and God didn't let me wait too long, because it was a few years after that. Now that we have kids, our kids are a little bit older now, and they're doing their thing. And that's where the answer came to me. All that work wasn't for us, it was for the kids. We had, if you went into the episode, I was Jalen's first piano teacher. 'Cause I taught the kids when they were young, they 6, 7 years old. I taught them piano, how to read music and things like that. And I got to shout out my magnificent eight, because all the accolades I had as a teacher, that one was the one that meant the most to me, because I saw those kids grow up and do great things, even in the music. Again, Jalen is musical director. He's done, a lot of things in the music world, gospel, definitely in the gospel realm. So to see them do what they've done, it was great. And let me give a shout out to the Magnificent Eight, as I called them: Jalen and Kayla Seawright, the brothers and sisters, David Jr. and Jordan Edwards. They were brothers and sisters as well. Cassie Chrisman, Trace Williamson, Caleb and Joel McElwee, made up my Magnificent Eight. And again, that was my greatest accomplishment as an educator, because I love teaching those kids, and they done well because they took over after a while. Now they all scattered across the country now, doing their own things. You got married, they got kids themselves, and it's great to see train up a child. They are evidence of it, because they were there with us. So all that work was it for them. And then one of my sons, my oldest, Blake Smith, shout out to Blake, my man, became a musician and as well up there. Now, he had all these keyboards. He had saxophone. I play saxophone. He go pick the drums, though. So what do a supporting father do? Go buy a drum set. So shout out to them, because now they took what we did, writing music, playing. they took it to another level. And that's what it was all about. So what was it for? What was all that work for? It wasn't for us. It was for the kids. And the kids prospered. And they're still prospering now. So I am waiting for my ticket, Jalen, Blake, and all the other ones out there that's doing their music thing. I want to go to the Stellar Award, Grammys. I got to get, listen, you can sit me up top. I don't care. But please, please, please send me to one of those shows, and I want to see you all there because, again, my greatest accomplishment as a teacher, that is one of them. I'm sure Urban Educator will talk about a few more of those, but that will be later on this month. I want to thank you all for listening to this vlog. Again, I'll leave all the other information in the show notes. You all take care. Peace. Much love. Be well.